barbell, by comparison to any previously existing tool, is almost a miracle.
And we're back. It's your boys from the Iron Fortress Gym. And I'm feeling good today.
Yeah?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, we had
You look good.
Thanks, dude. I have did you notice my glasses?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's
those things on your face. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I've just been wearing them because ever since we started the podcast, I just I've been trying to keep a low profile.
Yeah.
I don't want to get recognized.
Oh, no.
Too
I
much,
totally get it.
and so I'm trying to wear hats and glasses like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good look for you. Anything that distracts me from the thing behind it. I just feel like
okay. All right. No,
no. You're taking it the wrong way. I'm just saying you're a handsome kid.
Yeah, the glasses kick it up a bit.
Yeah, you handsome kid, and if you can just distract me from those deep brown pools that you call eyes,
yeah,
that I could get lost in.
They really pierce. They really go into the soul. Dude, I'm pumped about our new intro, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't want to put this out there like this is competitive with anybody. It has been called to me.
Oh,
it has
wow.
been called to me as the best intro in all big man related podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Best one in this building. I guarantee that.
I love it that name was available.
Yeah. You know what's sick though? That we thought of big man problems 12 years ago.
Yeah, dude, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's what, I was talking to my wife about that, was how, as I've been diving into it, right? Been publishing the podcast and editing and doing all this stuff. It's and maybe now that I'm older, I can kind of recognize some of that, rather than when I was younger, I just would move on and not take some time to reflect on it. But the manifestation.
Yeah.
How long have we wanted a podcast? I mean,
8 months.
Okay.
Was it longer?
No, you ruined that whole.
You were going for. Oh, try again. Do it again. We'll just edit that out.
Okay, all right. How long have we wanted a podcast?
34 years.
Yeah. I mean, even before we were born.
Yeah.
It's been really.
Not we, but you. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're.
Yeah.
The old man.
Yep.
Well.
Yep.
It's just been really fun because we've wanted to do one for probably over a decade.
I think something that about you and I hope other people are like this, but then again, successful people aren't like us. I think we do things because we want to do them.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a lot of podcasts out there that it's oh man, we're going to be famous. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind to get my Chipotle bowl paid for every once in a while by an adoring fan or two.
Yeah, sure.
But I think I just do this because it's fun. I
do
this because I like to throw on the headphones, pretend that I matter for an hour.
Yeah.
And just shoot the breeze.
Well, it's just also cool to have plans, and you've been making these plans, and we probably could have started it sooner. Life takes its own course, right? And we're doing it now, but it's just super cool that we've had the idea of having a podcast called Big Band Problems, or even that we were talking about doing merch that way.
Yeah.
But that's been an idea for just a decade.
Yeah.
And I mean, since we've opened the gym.
And what a blessing that we didn't do it as soon as we wanted to, because it would have been awful.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I think when we were younger, I think we've always been our own people. Like you and I haven't looked exactly like the rest of society ever. Not physically, but just mentally, or life.
Sure.
Life goals, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think as a young man, I probably would have tried to make it sound like somebody who was successful.
Yeah, for sure.
And now I'm just more interested in saying what I have to say.
It's just
a lot of that for me is age.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool to have it come together. It's also been fun to the audio and that side of editing and stuff is something that I've done before. But doing some of the promos that I've been putting on Instagram, doing some video editing and stuff.
They look sick.
That's been really fun too, because the combination of video editing and audio and doing all that together has been a lot of fun too.
Have you noticed the feedback on that I have? That people are not liking that I'm not getting as much screen time as you, and all your videos have more they're better angles. I'm in poor lighting, and
they're all the same. They're all recorded probably on the same phone.
Mine, because you don't bring anything to this relationship.
That's not true. Okay.
The iPhone guy.
The videos that I have the video that the videos that I have great angles on, you recorded. That's true. Okay.
Yeah, because I care about your.
You try
your
to get
angles.
some very unique cinematic effect, and that's great. I think part of the reason too that I'm in such a great mood is because it's fall time, dude, and it's hoodie weather, and you can walk out and just get a big breath of air.
Do you think it'll ever be socially acceptable to pick your nose in public? I think it's gross. I'm gonna go on record. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm 36 now. If I need to breathe, I need to breathe. Can I just say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you catch me at a stoplight and you catch me doing something not so great, look the other way.
Yeah, but we've got the what do they call it? The domain rule, where in your car it's pretty much like when you're home.
Should be.
There is some sort of law around that, but it's you should be able to pick your nose in your car.
There's laws around picking your nose?
No, I'm saying like when you're in your car, there's like they call it like the castle, like
Doctrine?
'cause they have the same thing like if you're in a hotel room.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you for instance you get assaulted when you're in your hotel room or something, there's some kind of a rule like that in Missouri where so you should be able to it's like your home. I know you leave the house and you're like, oh man, I forgot to put on clothes, like any item of clothes, and then you get in the car and you're picking your nose, you're shaving on your way to work in your car.
Yeah.
You should be able to do that.
Whip up an egg in the passenger seat on a hot plate. Just
you got a
like to be
cigarette
comfortable.
lighter like thing for the hot plate.
we've got like a a dashboard like fondue.
You're like, look, when
Fondue
I'm
fountain.
listening to my podcast on the way to work, I like the smell of bacon. Okay, and so I'll fry up a few slices.
I like what I like, and I will not apologize for that.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on today. We've got training
Better get
talk
into
later. Let's dive into it. We got training talk, and as usual, we have just another topic of our lives. And
Are we starting story time this time? We talked about throwing some stories out there.
yeah, we can go into those later too. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever else.
Well, as always, you run the show. I'm just here for it, man.
Dude, let's go big man problem.
I'm just your co-host. You know what I mean?
That's-
Not the host.
Well, let's not like co-host is probably kind of generous.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Let's say assistant,
Yeah. Yeah.
and or even maybe this. Hold on, let me rephrase that. Okay, this is better. Mm-hmm. Errand boy.
Aaron, well, got you. Well, I mean, as always, you are the CEO of the gym. I'm
Right.
just like, I'm the lowly.
See, I don't like that you're saying that because it makes me feel like you've got other plans.
Do you think I have an ankle?
Yeah, it seems like you got an angle.
Who,
Whenever
me?
you don't give me pushback, and then you start saying like, "Yeah, you're the CEO." It makes me feel like something's coming.
No, dude. Look, I'm just the lowly like shepherd boy. You know what I mean? I'm the shepherd of strength and positivity.
The shepherd of strength.
Oh, did I just drop that on you?
The shepherd of strength. That's your new Instagram handle.
I'm sorry.
It's the shepherd of strength is
Am
a
I the
great name.
Best at that in the world, maybe. We
That's
don't
your
know.
new Instagram handle, and then you can be like, I've got a herd in my flock.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
dude.
good. I like that.
Yeah.
Let them know. Big man problem of the day.
Big man problem number day. We're starting. We're going out of order with these. This one's big man problem number 2 because it's one of the first ones in life you deal with.
Yeah.
So there's a childhood version of this. There's an adolescent. There's
This
a
one is-
full blown adult version.
Yeah.
We're gonna label this one or title this one. Maybe not the title of the episode, but the title of this one is "T-shirt in the swimming pool."
Oh, dude.
And that
Am I-
that guttural response is the exact right one.
I feel something when you say that.
Yeah.
Like I kind of feel something in my stomach.
Understand, we're not throwing shade at any of our brethren of robust proportions.
No, this is just our portly experience.
Yeah,
Okay?
this is just
Like,
our chubby lives we're talking about.
I know you've got a good story for this.
I got a couple.
Okay, well let's start off with childhood first.
So for those of you that for those of you that your A1C is not a problem, you know what I mean. You may not understand where I'm coming from with this one.
For those of you with regular cholesterol and blood work,
yeah, for those of you with body fat percentages in like the teens or lower, you may not understand. As a child, you're unaware that people can see that you're big or maybe chubby or whatever through your shirt. So when it's time to jump in the pool, because we're in mid-Missouri, so there's definitely a pool season, and when May hits and you're hyped to get in the pool, the lake, the whatever, the watering hole, I don't know, Sometimes you make the, dare I say, mistake of jumping in that T-shirt. You jump in, and it sticks to you. That's the first problem. That's the thing you don't think of.
Yeah, it's...
This polycotton blend is going to maintain this flowing, feathery appearance as soon as I jump. No, it won't. No, it will not.
Yeah,
so,
and you know, the thing of it is, too, is it was already on my mind. You know, whatever event was coming up or whatever I was going to be doing, it was already on my mind the week beforehand.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
I have to decide, am I going to take the shirt off and just say, you know what, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Am I going to leave the shirt on? The night before, I'm like, what color T-shirt am I going to wear?
Right.
Which T-shirt am I going to pick?
And as a child, everything rides on that. Now we look back on it and it's like, no one remembers that.
No.
Or if they do, they just knew that about us before we got in the pool.
For sure.
I
And
mean-
and it's almost like you would be thinking, like you said, oh, I've got a T-shirt on. I look jacked in my T-shirt or whatever. Not that actually crossed my mind, but just that, like, they do hide, like that the shirt's forgiving.
Yeah.
And they're not. It's
not.
not like you can't tell the difference, right?
Yeah. Some people think that that's where the idea of Under Armour came from. That guy saw a portly kid jump in a pool and he saw how form-fitting he was and he was like, you know what? No, that's a lie. That's not real. Okay, so moving on. That's a childhood version of it. We could go for days on that topic because we're just painstakingly boring.
Really quickly, I had the one too is you try to pick like a different color because white is
Not the call.
White is not the call, right?
Right.
And I don't remember what the exact scenario was, but we were at like a youth group, like summer camp type of thing. And they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go to this big giant like, I don't even know, recreation center, and we're gonna all go swimming together, all the kids from camp, because they didn't have a pool at the camp." And I'm like, "Well, is this like a sign up kind of thing, like involuntary? Like I don't, like I can volunteer to go where I don't have to go at all. I can just stay back at the camp."
I
And,
have a doctor's note.
yeah, and I was dreading it, man. And I think I went yellow, like a neon yellow.
Sick.
Is like the T-shirt I was wearing that day. And I think that was one of the only 2 times that I ever did it. Because after that, it was like it almost brought more attention to you.
Oh, yeah.
Just leaving it on, you
Yeah.
know. And the other thing that's frustrating is that there's this kid, maybe multiple kids, that are oblivious. They just rip off their T-shirt and just jump in the pool,
Right.
and they're maybe even thicker than I am.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, you know what? And at the time, I don't think of that.
You don't think of it.
I don't think of that. I was like,
Right.
oh, I should have, But it almost is just, worse to just leave it on. It almost brings in more attention.
So that's a pretty good segue into, as a young man, and you were at that camp or whatever. I guess we're calling it a camp, but a lot of our listeners don't know that Nate belonged to. It's rude to call it a cult. Like
That's
not politically correct.
That's
to call
not.
it. What?
It
Will you
wasn't
just
a
let
cult.
me tell the story?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Listen. So Nate didn't have a traditional upbringing. I had a little more traditional. Like I went to school and like I had friends and stuff.
I had an education, okay, and I went to school in my high school years. Okay,
And you should hold your head high about that. You really should.
I was homeschooled.
Look, dude, you're not a statistic, and by all intents and by all rights, you should have been probably.
Sometime I should talk about that too, because that's like a funny thing where when you're homeschooled, like when homeschoolers, there's definitely a certain person you would meet, and you can say, hey, they might be homeschooled, right?
I
And
have
it was
an
always
inkling.
It
I
was
have just a suspicion.
It
you
was
might have
always
been.
like the compliment that I would get. They'd be like, "Oh, you don't seem like you're homeschooled." Like it's like the thing
Yeah.
people would even in college. They'd be like, "You were homeschooled? You seem so normal."
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Which is the same kind of energy they have when I'm not out of breath going up a flight of stairs.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
Like, oh, I didn't know you were mobile. I didn't know you got up.
No,
you
go
fought
ahead.
gravity like
I'm
that.
sorry, that's a side trail, but yeah, go ahead.
So then you become a young man, you're a young person, I guess, and you might engage in sports and maybe even PE class. You hear one fateful day those 3 terrible words.
What is it?
They say, line up, fellas, we're going shirts and skins.
No, okay, so I didn't experience this, okay? Is this like an actual, is this your actual teacher?
Could be.
Let's say you're
I've
out
been
at your
in that-
PE teacher and he says we're going shirts and skins. It's not just like you boys were like playing basketball on the side of the building, and then the one kid that is like kind of jacked is like, hey, we're doing shirts and skins. Like he's the one that brings it up.
No, and I don't know, full transparency, if it ever happened in school, but like my PE teacher was a lot of times the basketball coach.
Right.
So it's the same thing because it's at basketball practice, and maybe we've got reversible jerseys that year, maybe we don't. So we go shirts
Okay.
and skins, and yeah, it was embarrassing to be. Now the one nice thing is, you're not. Usually it's just the fellas. It's
Right.
just the lads.
That's true.
Just hanging, doing our
Oh,
thing.
if there are girls around at that age,
I'm out.
I think I'm out. Yeah.
But the fear is you're in the gym, and there are other like extracurriculars happening. So the cheerleaders could walk through there.
Oh, you're not outside for this.
No, sir.
Oh, I'm imagining like
Basketball
outside.
happens in the winter, sir, and that's the biggest perpetuator of that shirts,
Yeah.
because you're not going shirts and skins in football. You know what I mean? Like that's not happening.
That's true.
So let me tell you something. If you were afraid of how revealing the wet T-shirt is on you, you definitely don't want to be glistening with sweat and jumping.
Yeah, you got some motion going.
I don't want to bore you with how physics works and the relationship of gravity on us here humans, but let's just say I've put it behind me,
Yeah.
or at least I've buried that trauma deep.
Yeah, I mean, I think too a lot of the times I was just like gonna avoid that situation totally. If somebody was like, "Hey, we're doing shirts and skins," I would maybe be like, "I have to go to the toilet. Like my stomach's upset," and
Yeah.
then just never come back.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
some way to get out of that. They even did. You remember that Ben Stiller movie where they did like the slow mo shot of shirts and skins?
Oh, Along Came Polly.
Yeah, do you remember that? Where like
Yeah,
he
the dude just like sweat all down him, basically.
and also just like a fur sweater. He's super hairy as well.
My favorite part is Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's like, raindrops, ice water every time he shoots, and it's the worst shot. I love that so much.
I love that.
So full transparency again, I don't know what the adult version of this is. I don't
Yeah.
know what the grown man version of this is, because a lot of us have just, hey, this is me. This is who I am.
Right.
And we're at like a renaissance of that, like where everybody's perfect now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but I think too, as you get older,
I'm trying not to cough in the mic.
you're all right. I think as you get older too, though, you can just decide on that. You'd be like, yeah, dude, I gotta work. I'm busy. Like,
Sure.
not gonna have. Yeah, I think you're either gonna be in that. It is what it is, and I'm doing this, or you're gonna be in the other camp where it's like I'm just gonna avoid it completely.
And maybe this is a shameless plug, but all the more reason to lift heavy. Hey, big men out there, you got no excuse not to lift heavy, because when you go to that work-sponsored pool party, pop that bad boy off and
Yeah.
show off some traps.
Even-
Show off some delts. Maybe you don't have
Dude,
the
it
abs.
is-
Abs are overrated.
Yeah, it's such a game changer. Like, girls don't even like abs. Abs are stupid,
I mean, in a lot of countries, I think they're seen as, a sign of infertility.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I just made that up.
yeah,
That's not real.
No, I think it is. I can Google it, but it's like
Please don't.
okay. Oh yeah, probably shouldn't. And you start training, you get some traps a little bit. You get a little bit of shoulders, and even if we're a high body fat percentage still, we're now like, oh, he's
I-
just a big burly dude.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
First time I ever said this.
What?
Traps for a big man are abs on a fit man.
Oh, there's.
Big man abs are traps. Traps and delts.
Oh, for sure. It's a game changer because even if you're not, even if you still got, I don't know what you'd even call that, but what is it? Is it a combination of, it's like not a dad bod, but it's like, it's like this combination of where you've got like that higher body fat percentage. It's strongman pretty much.
It shows
Power.
that you're functional is what it is.
Yeah.
That's the dude you'd want when ish hits the fan. You know what I want at the company pool party when I'm swimming down the deep end, because I go to the deep end.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
When
yeah.
they see
assert
the-
your dominance in the.
That's what I do.
In the
It's
deep.
what I do. So
Yeah.
when I'm swimming down there, and the water is, it does that thing where it just like distorts things at the bottom.
Right.
I want them to say, "Is that a pale stingray swimming at the bottom? What is
see,
that?"
See, I normally just got, is that a manatee? Like,
Yeah.
that's what they'd be like, what is that down at the bottom of the pool? I think that they need to clean this thing.
Yeah.
I
I don't care. Manatee, stingray, you don't want to see me in the water. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like, just the sheer mass of the object swimming on the deep end, Also, how long can you hold your breath for?
Long time.
Yeah, that's right. See,
Big
that also
moves.
is another element. It's like you're gonna go under Steve because you got abs.
I think what's unfair about being a big man in this day and age, and it's getting better, don't get me wrong, it's getting better every day. At no point in history did they want those abs. They wanted a thin layer on top of those abs, big old traps and delts, because we're providers.
Yeah, because who?
And
you
I'm
know,
bringing it back.
because it is a thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what age you're in, like medieval times, like whatever stage you're in. When you're watching a movie and then they bring in the big guy, you know what I'm talking about?
He's got a leather vest on.
He's got a leather vest on.
It's probably not called a vest, but it's something.
It's something. Maybe he's got a battle axe and a mask. You know, they bring in the executioner.
Yeah, he's got a scar on his face because he's been to war, fellas.
Dude, I'm getting amped just us talking about it, you know? Everybody's doing their thing, you know? Look at Lord of the Rings, you know? They're all doing their thing. All these little guys are fighting around or whatever, and then it's like, and guess who's there? Sauron. And he's massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a big guy. You can't see his body, so that's maybe not a great example, but...
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, big man problem number 2, just to recap.
So
go ahead.
well, let's
Sorry.
hit him with some. You know, let's button it up and hit him with some. What we wish we would have done. You know, give him some tips because maybe somebody on here is dealing with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what I would say is, and this might sound like a worse prospect, but I promise you it isn't. Understand that sweatshirt, that hoodie, that T-shirt, whatever it is, isn't really concealing how big you are. Especially if you're like me and Nate, and you're like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
You know, you're giant.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it. Flaunt it.
Yeah.
Because you have what they don't have, and that's okay. And they have what you don't have, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing to be.
Get out of your head. No one cares but you.
Yeah, I wish I would have been friends with you when I was younger.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have anybody to tell me that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have anybody to say like, dude, just get out of your head. Nobody's gonna remember this. Like a month from now, nobody's gonna remember this.
Yeah. I think that's a digression, but I think that's a good call out just in life.
Mm-hmm.
If you're stressing over something, a decision, whatever it is, ask yourself, will it matter in a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah.
And then plan accordingly.
Yeah, you're right. Training talk of the day, my friend. We were on the way over to the gym. You were telling me about recently you had an appointment.
Yeah.
And you were talking with a medical professional.
She was professional, dude.
Let them
Very
know.
Professional.
Let them know about it.
2 things. I'm not going to get long-winded about this. This is just kind of housekeeping here. Big science believers here. We love science. Big believer in that. However, find medical professionals that align with you. Like you're not looking for somebody to just tell you to jump and you say how high. And this is my opinion. Take it or leave it. Find somebody who's going to work with you. Find people that you trust and you feel like have your best intentions at heart and are not just doing a job. That's like my short commercial for just medical professionals.
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to be able to find a lot of those people. And by the way, they're out there. Especially the way like telehealth and crap works these days. Anyway, speaking with this lady, this medical professional, and she had mentioned that, cardio had been shown in studies, which is awesome. She's evidence-based to help with X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
But then I kind of got the feeling from chatting with her, and I didn't go into depth with this with her. She wants me on a treadmill. She wants me on a treadmill, on a bike. She wants me doing the health club thing.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's awesome. My issue with that is she also knows that I'm a competitive strongman, and never did she really consider that maybe my cardiovascular needs could be met some other way.
Sure.
So again, these are broad brushstrokes. If you come to us individually, we might have different advice, different things to bring up with you. But for my big men out there who are just getting started, cardio looks a lot of ways. If you're doing it purely for weight loss, good on you.
Yeah.
Start where you can start.
Yeah.
And increase incrementally. That's where that's like the thesis statement of this. So I always like to bring up, my man Chad Wesley Smith brings up, increasing volume is increasing sets, reps, or weight week over week. So I'm gonna translate that into cardio. Increase a metric every week that you can. If you are a step tracker, do more steps.
Yeah.
If you want to run, run. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go just a little bit further, a little bit faster. That's awesome. But if you're like me, and some of those more traditional, that's air quotes, traditional cardio, what would you call it, competencies? I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't really fit my strengths. They don't really fit the goals that I have.
Right.
You know, if I'm trying to pack on muscle while dropping body fat in prep for a show, you know, I'm trying to take 1,000-pound yoke. I'm trying to, you know, take 400 pounds per hand in a farmer's walk. I don't necessarily want to obliterate my knees on pavement running.
Right.
You know, like, make it make sense to where you're at in
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
Increase it over time.
Yeah.
More than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, and in that case that you're talking about, it's like what complements and what takes away, you know?
Sure.
Because, you know, in a sport-specific kind of setting, you know, running on the treadmill or running on the pavement or whatever, it's like, I'm trying to save my knees for this yoke, dude. Like, you know, and I get that each thing has its place and whatnot, but, you know, like in terms of like somebody who's been training a lot, especially, but, you know, if you're talking about somebody who's like just getting started, you know, we've talked about this a lot, but in terms of just getting started, going outside and sprinting, or like going to the gym and running on a treadmill, it's I don't care who you are, unless you're just like wired that way,
Yeah.
which there very few people are. That's really difficult to get pumped about. It's too much change, too quick, and the sustainability of that's probably pretty low. It's the same we were talking about with diet. You know, what fits your schedule, what fits your life, and what can you consistently do and stick to.
Yeah.
You know,
What fits your life and what fits your goals, I think, are the same thing,
Yeah.
but they can be a little different. And if you just have it in your mind that you want to be a runner, you know, if you want to be the Apollo Creed to my Rocky sprinting on a beach one day,
right?
if you want to just glisten in that golden hour sun
Man.
rays,
Yeah, with one of your best friends,
with one of your lads, bro,
with just one of your boys.
good on you. If you want that,
Yeah.
I want it for you.
Who
I
doesn't
guess-
want to run on the beach in 3-inch inseam shorts with their best, and we're talking vibrant colors.
I think that word is communist. Communists don't want that.
I want to be.
Do you
in
like freedom? Do you like the Star Spangled Banner?
I want to be in bright yellow, and my
Oh.
homie in like an aqua teal, and we're it's kind of matching, you know.
Teal's a good color.
And we're running on the beach, and then when we both finally make that mark in the sand where we did it, we hit 6 miles in 3 minutes.
Man,
We can jump around in the water, in the salt water, and just bask in all the glory.
the thought of you glistening in the sun really derails my train of thought, but I think where I was going with that, if you want that, I want that for you. But if you're just getting started, I would caution you, and I would say run if you want to run.
Yeah.
Maybe not every day.
Yeah.
Maybe the day one you're running as a baseline, and maybe
Yeah.
every Monday.
Yeah.
Or every Friday, or it matches up with your life and your goals. So it's the day after a lot of recovery. Maybe you're fresh. I would say maybe the next time you do cardio that week, maybe it's sandbags,
Yeah.
maybe it's heavy carries, maybe it's walking. Maybe get in the pool if you have access. That's awesome. Do it.
Yeah,
man.
that's huge. I think too. It's we've talked about this before, but finding some way that you can stick to it and then sticking to it no matter what.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, because of my hatred for running in the treadmill, I was kind of dogmatic about the treadmill.
Sure. As we all can be.
And that was something where I came around where I was like, man, after I'd been training for a long time, like getting on a treadmill and walking on an incline, listening to a podcast, it sounds pretty dope.
Yeah.
And so,
And there's a time and place for that.
yeah, and that's one thing too was, I getting outside more is great, regardless. But
Agreed.
then like walking, listening to something or not listening to anything at all, and just walking outside is a great place to start. But it's like the weather's getting ready to be bad, right? And so I think it's important that if you have a treadmill, if you have a bike, if you have a rower, like whatever it is, even if you just at the Iron Fortress gym, you just see people walking
Yeah.
like back and forth around the gym. They're
Yep.
getting their steps in, and
I have several clients that just are coming to mind. There's
Yeah.
one in particular. He's at the beginning of his strength journey.
nice,
He likes hiking. He's a bigger guy.
dope,
Likes hiking. I love that for him.
yeah,
But again, coming back to compliance, and I want you to speak more to that too, because I kind of just cut you off. I've
It's fine.
said
I'm
this.
furious, but keep going.
Yeah. You'll be over it. I've said this before. I'm going to be a broken record on a lot of this because a lot of it's not like earth-shattering opinions. They're all the same thing, just formulated into different topics, because the real secret sauce here is compliance. That's the secret ingredient. So if you need an hour a day of cardio and an hour a day of weight training, how long is that sustainable?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
That's
and
a
that's
lot.
a lot on the body. It's a big calorie expenditure. So
Yeah.
maybe it's totally appropriate for my client, your client, whoever's listening. Maybe you hit that heavy first set, whatever that, or first exercise, your heavy compound, because I'm talking to all you, like your strongmen and powerlifters and whatnot. You hit your squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, whatever it is, and then the next 6 exercises you superset 2 of them at a time.
Yeah.
Just something to get that heart rate up, and like you're saying, walk to the water fountain after
Yeah.
every set.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get 10,000 steps in, you think? Just flat out for just general.
It's going to take a decent, like if you're doing it all in one setting, it's going to take a decent amount of time, but
We're talking an hour?
Yeah, maybe more. Because it depends on what pace you're walking at, but I think that if you're just doing a general stroll, like listening to something,
Yeah.
I think I'm usually getting around like 2,500, like 3,000 in like 25 minutes.
But I guess my point to that is, and that can be done.
25,000, 2,500. Good night.
I heard you
Speed
said.
walking.
I wasn't going to correct you. I guess my point is, like, those steps can be made at the top of every hour for 10 minutes, going to the water cooler,
Yeah, you
refilling
can-
your bottle, going to the bathroom, whatever. Or how many steps can you get in an hour of weight training when you're just walking in between sets?
Yeah, dude, that's what I do. That's what I do right now. Is I'll hit a set, and even between some things where I'm taking 3 or 4 minutes. Let's say I'm going to take 4 minutes because I got another like decently heavy set.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk for 3 of it, and then for a minute I'm getting my mind right to make sure that like I'm rested between sets, right? Because you can keep your heart rate up if you're the walking can get your heart rate up and sweating, in between when you're a big boy like myself.
You know what? You know what one trick your trainer doesn't want you to know? Do you know the one trick your doctor doesn't want you to know?
What is it?
Well, normally I sell this for $9.99.
Oh, okay, wow.
No, it's $999, by the way. But for our listeners, I'm gonna give you a premium. This is the thing nobody wants you to know. This is a secret. Write this down. You know what's great cardio?
What?
Cleaning up your weights.
Oh, wow, dude.
Yeah, and what's crazy is they don't want you to know that, because that's why trainers are so fit, because they're just cleaning up after clients all day.
Yeah, my gosh, that is a huge one. That's a
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going with that there for
Yeah.
a second, but that's a big part of my life.
And you guys should, like, I don't think you understand the gravity of this. My days are numbered now. I've let out an industry secret.
Yeah.
I mean, if
They're gonna
I-
come for you now.
Hey, I want to live a long life. So if anything happens to me, understand I want to live. So
And it was because of this podcast where you dropped that
If I get-
gem.
if my brake lines are cut when I leave here,
Oh, wow.
I love you guys.
Yeah, and like, dude, but you're right. Like, in the baseline of what you're trying to say is it's the little things.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they talk about for like dieting and cutting. How much of your activity comes from these like involuntary, little just daily things, walking back forth to the fridge, fidgeting, like, tapping your hands, that kind of stuff is a lot of our calorie expenditure for the day. And there's just little stuff. It doesn't take much, man.
I guess ask yourself, like, what is the strength protocol, the cardio protocol, and the recovery protocol that a farmer sets out for himself every morning?
Yeah.
None is the
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
It's what we're doing, other than strength training, is trying to mimic what all of
Yeah.
human existence has been before
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's a good point.
And I say that to be freeing, not for you to get bogged down in this, but to say, yeah, if you want a real specific goal,
Sure.
if you want a booty like Nate, not you, another Nate I know,
Oh, okay. All right.
or
That's upsetting.
something really specific, or be massively strong and charismatic and just flowing locks like me, whatever, I don't know, whatever you want. It's going to take some more specific goals.
Right.
But if you want to improve something in a general sense, just start and don't overthink it.
I like it. Yeah, man. I because that is part of the biggest hurdle, right? That is probably the biggest hurdle is getting started.
Yeah.
And then because it is the main thing with diet, training, even lifting weights, all of it is that I have to change my entire life. I have to
Sure.
uproot everything. I have to flip everything to total 180. and it's just not it's just not the case usually.
And even if it is the case, if you've got to
right, if you got a lot
every,
to do, if you got a lot to do, yeah.
If you've got to overturn every stone in your life, start with one of them.
Yeah.
And then at the end of 10 years, maybe you flipped most of them.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know, I mean, just start. And, you know, I find that to be more of a freeing thing because I'm going through that now. Like, I want perfection now. I'm battling back from injury.
Yeah.
You know, in my prime and where, you know, I don't think I've hit my prime yet, like, in terms of, like, what it will be at the end of the story. But, you know, I've squatted over 600 pounds for years, you know, for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I did a 5x5 with 135 the other day.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to start.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of this back to the treadmill because I'm hating on them for some reason. I don't hate on treadmills. I just that's where I'm at in life right now.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying.
Do something that feels good.
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Walking feels good if you do it right.
Yeah.
Do it in the grass if you can. Real forgiving surface, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, nobody. And I think this can be kind of a callback to our big man problem of the day. Nobody cares.
Yeah, it's true.
If your cardio sucks, and you're not strong, and you know you feel like you have no business being in a gym, can't speak for all of them, but at 4250 East Broadway, Suite 860 here in Columbia, Missouri, we are going to be your biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Because we know we're watching the beginning of an awesome success story.
Well,
or should be.
Yeah, and most of us, I mean, I know for you and me, we're still struggling with it. We're still balancing. We're still trying to find the balance between everything in our lives, and also like increasing these little things. And it comes and goes. Yeah. There are times where everything's on point for me.
Yeah.
And then there are times where nothing is on point for me.
Yeah.
And like sometimes there's just a few things, but it's, you know, you look at the overarching goal of it all. And, you know, at this point, you're saying, okay, I want to increase my activity. I want to work on my cardio. And I want to find some way that I can actually get myself, you know, a little motivated to start creating discipline, you know. And it just increase, that's it. Increase activity can look so many ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
And be weary of doing, again, the whole stone analogy. Be weary of doing too many at once. This is why I hate on this steady state cardio because, you know, got to change the diet, got to strength train, got to recover, got to do cardio, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. Just start.
Yeah.
And, you know, trick yourself. I'm so dumb that I have to trick myself. So maybe you're doing an exercise. Excuse me. Maybe you're doing an exercise at the back of the gym, in the very back squat rack. You're doing curls out of the squat rack.
Sweet.
Maybe you superset with something at the front of the gym. That's really silly. But if you had to walk 200 feet between sets, awesome. Yeah,
it's going to be a game changer. And if you do that every time you're going or you train, and it really is a weird thing to, because it's stuff you got to find a place you can do it at, kind of, though, you know, like commercial gyms.
Not all gyms can do that.
Yeah, you know, I mean, well, maybe it's the size of the gym, but it's like, you know, there's a lot of places where it's one of my favorite things, you know, while I'm doing that, while I'm trying to increase my activity and my steps and stuff. I love kicking open the garage door here and then kicking open the front door, and I just walk a circle. So I'm going in and outside, you know?
Yeah.
It's awesome. You know what I mean? Some gyms are not laid back enough to have that option.
And maybe it's cliche to say it because people have said it, but why not park in the back row at Walmart and you know, walk in and maybe you do online grocery pickup. Maybe once a month. You go in and shop.
Yeah.
You take the 2 hours.
Yeah, dude, I like it.
To walk around and push
Those
the
are
buggy.
great tips right there.
Is it a shopping cart or a buggy? What do we call it?
Yeah, I think it's called a food buggy.
You know what I was thinking? And this was inspired by our man, Randy the Savage. You know what we need? You know what the Iron Fortress gym is missing?
What?
We need carts out front where strongmen can just load up a cart, not have to carry anything, and push it in. And I want to go Aldi style where you got to put a quarter in. Because these degenerates are going to take.
Yeah,
our
I mean,
carts.
we gotta
protect our investment.
Yeah, Papa's got to get his beak wet.
Yeah, and you know what? If you got a buddy who's meeting you at the gym, maybe every other day you get to ride on the front of the cart.
And maybe you have kids, or maybe you have, you know, maybe your friend that you're training with is really small. He can ride in the little kid seat. You
Jimmy,
know
we're talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, we're talking. I was just thinking of Jimmy.
Yeah, just make sure you buckle him in, Amy, because he will wiggle right out of there.
Yeah, and like, you can hop in there. We can make a quarter per cart buggy.
Well, I don't know what we'll call it. Strongman,
We'll figure
strongman
it
cart.
out. We'll figure it out. No, dude, it's good stuff. I like that because I did that. When I was starting out, that's what I thought I had to do. I was a young kid just trying to lose weight, and I started running on the treadmill.
Yeah.
And it sucked.
Yeah,
so bad.
How many treadmills did you have to go through?
Oh, I mean, I was at a small recreation center in like a super small town, and I was burning through a treadmill like a month.
That place is condemned now.
Yeah, and they were like,
they thought it was gang violence. They
Yeah,
just
somebody-
kept coming in there, and they just kept seeing.
well, it was probably weirding people out because they'd be like, "What's that squeaking noise?" And it was just my weight, just skipping the treadmill out. You know how like it traction to the bottom
Yeah.
underneath the belt.
Are you asking me if I'm familiar with that?
No, I just am saying that's a thing for that's actually probably that's a funny big man problem, but the treadmill definitely skips out like that. But I mean, that's what I thought I had to do. So I got up, I was running, friggin' however many miles a week, and I just should have walked to the gym.
Yeah.
And then like walked at the gym, and it's just an easier thing to do.
So we always bring up other people on this cast, like people who have said this or said that corroborates what we're saying.
Yeah.
Part of it's because these aren't earth-shattering, proprietary ideas.
Right.
Like other people
Yeah.
are doing this. So one person I always bring up, Stan Efferding. Stan
Yeah.
Efferding, he coaches as high level athletes as you can coach.
As you can imagine, of all disciplines.
Of all disciplines.
Yeah.
John Bones Jones is
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
Probably the best dude to ever fight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
At least sanctioned bouts anyway,
Yeah.
because I've never actually strapped it on for money.
Right.
He, I'm going to try really hard not to breathe into the mic like that ever again.
That's all
Sorry.
right. That's all right.
He brings up, and I like this, 10-minute walks.
Oh yeah, dude.
So, regardless of your fitness level, you're probably in a place where you can do a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
And now ideally he wants it to be a brisk walk.
Right.
So what I call that Walmart walk. I got to get in and get out. You know what I mean? Even if you're not there yet, can you pre or post meal or both every day do a 10-minute just saunter? You work a desk job like I do. You're sitting a lot. Can you set an alarm on your phone? Whatever. Maybe 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
At 9:50, 10:50. For the last 10 minutes of the hour, quick walk to the water cooler. Be on your feet for a minute. Start there.
Yeah.
If you're 10 years deep and that's still your protocol, maybe we need to, up that. I mean, there's a call out there. We need to increase over time, but don't feel like it has to be this big production.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier too, and I really like it, is in the context of that, your cardio can look a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Is that, like if anybody on Instagram or anybody or your coach is saying, this is the one specific way you have to do it,
Sure.
like this is that, to be leery of that.
Yeah, especially if they're selling you something. I mean, I would hope I wouldn't have to tell people that, but if I have this one ingredient that I put in a bottle and I can sell to you,
Right.
and you never have to train,
Right.
yeah, walk away from that.
Yeah.
Walk away from that pretty quick. Run away from that. But and what we're saying is not don't be uncomfortable, because this whole process is walking the line of being uncomfortable.
Right.
Like you have to push yourself to a place you don't want to be. I guess what we're saying is you don't need to be there total red line day one.
Right.
Ease into it, and it's going to come with time.
Yeah.
It's going to come with time.
Yeah. I like it, dude.
So actionable things, here's what I would say. These are broad brush strokes. Start with walking. Start
Yeah.
with tracking steps. Do it over the course of a day.
Yeah.
If you get 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 steps a day, let's start with 500 more for the whole week.
Right.
500 steps over the course of a day is not much, fellas.
No, it's not, and you can just the tracking thing is tough. We've talked about that before. Like tracking is
Some
tough.
people don't dig that, and I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's such a nice thing to do though, because you can see.
Yeah.
And then you can actually because then you can actually kind of set your increase even lower maybe than you would have. Because if you're just going by how you feel, maybe you got more energy that day, maybe you got less energy that day. It doesn't, in the terms of tracking,
Yeah.
I did these many steps, I walked for this long, and today I'm going to increase it by 1 minute. And
And if you're one of those guys, you're just the Jean-Claude Van Damme of tracking things.
Yeah.
Let's say you drop those calories by 500 calories a day, and you're increasing your steps by 500 a day.
Right.
Like you at least know you're not doing too much, or you have some feedback.
Right.
When you reassess.
Yeah.
You like the Jean-Claude reference?
Oh yeah, dude. He's looking rough.
Oh really? The 70-year-old is looking rough?
No, it's just that they're not letting it go. You know?
That's a problem.
Him, Sylvester, Dolph Lundgren, like Jean-Claude, all those guys. I saw a picture of them all together, and I was like, oh, that's cool. They did like a wax. They did a wax museum figures of all of them together. I was like, where is this museum at? It was just them at like the red carpet.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, there's something to that. There's a big man problem in there too.
They just want to stay jacked and tan, dude.
I don't want to divulge our future big man problems, but I'm not saying you shouldn't always try to look your best, because there's a lot of confidence that comes with that.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. But yeah, man, growing old is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Look, everyone, we appreciate you all being here and coming in and hanging out with us. Once again, theironfortressgym.com. You can go there, and we've got some actually there's even some articles out there. You can learn some cool stuff. We got some things on there. We sell merch. You can take a look at our coaching services, and if you're in the area, you can come and train at the gym with us.
And look, we're not a part of a corporate body, so if there's something you want to see, if there's change you want to see, if there's an article you want to hear about, a topic you want to hear us talk about,
yeah.
If you've got something very specific in mind, programming wise, let us know.
Yeah, we want questions too. We want to try to help and answer questions that people are thinking about. You can comment on Instagram for those, YouTube. You can email us at ironfortressmedia@gmail.com. You can send them there too. Or if you just want to send Zach a cute little love letter,
you can call Nate. His number is it spells out Big Fats.
Oh,
but
wow!
If you spell it out on a touch tone phone,
right? It's 1-800 dump truck.
That's too many letters.
All right, but I still like where I was going with that.
Yeah, all right. You tried. That's the important part. Hey guys, we love you.
This has been Big Man Problems.
Was number 2.
Episode 3.
No, Big Man Problem number 2, episode 3.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. Yeah. And we're out. I told you not to do that. I'm gonna start turning off your mic.